You are now listening to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
My name is DJ Vince Adams. I absolutely appreciate what the Chicago Clubhouse crew is doing for the city of Chicago.
Hey, young world, what's good? It's your boy Bernard Varian, a.k.a. B-Twice.
What up? This is Rasheed Davis, former Chicago Bear wide receiver.
Hey, my name is Lemuel Stinson, a.k.a. Lemonhead, formerly of the Chicago Bears.
What's up? My name is C.J. Watson, former Bulls guard and bench bomb creator.
This is two-time six-man all-star baller Ricky Deuces Pierce.
What's up, people? This is Chicago radio legend Rick Party, the voice you hear everywhere.
My name is Pee-wee from the movie House Party.
This is Megan Martinez from the Good and Plenty podcast.
Hey, this is Bubba Ball from the Shits podcast.
Hey, this is Nika from One Shot Wellness, Reverend from the ATL, dropping some drips on that Chi-Town Clubhouse podcast.
This is Sherry, and you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You're now rocking with Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
Where they think they know everything.
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 But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit. But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But honestly, they don't know shit.
Hey, I smell something. I smell podcast. The Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Show.
They really don't know shit.
You already know what time it is.
You see this Eddie Jackson jersey right here? Take this.
This dude literally just took my soul.
So I didn't like playing with Brett Favre at all.
You could have waited until the draft if you wanted to look at another quarterback. You didn't have to sign Andy Dalton, who is really nothing but a backup.
Evander Holyfield is 58 years old. What you want to fight a 58-year-old man?
But man, he wants to keep fighting.
Because he want to fight him. Okay, it's an exhibition.
But yeah, it's an exhibition because
this ain't Drago and Apollo Creed, man. Ain't nobody about to.
Man, Martin and Tommy Hearns was an exhibition. You saw what happened to Martin.
This could hurt.
Thanks, Hayden. Nothing but the best.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, bro, tough for real, man.
Yeah, man. He like tougher than some grown folks I know, man.
That as a coach, your job is to give your players the best opportunity to have success.
Michael Jordan, when he came back at LeBron James' age, he was a straight up nothing.
That is blasphemy on his computer right now.
Because I'm gonna tell you something. Without Dennis Rodman, I couldn't see them winning like they did those second three championships. I can't see it.
I agree.
And now I'm the voice of SportsCenter on ESPN. Now on SportsCenter. Tonight, LeBron James. And whatever.
Do you guys really coach how exactly to tackle correctly? Because I see it all over the league now. People cannot tackle like they did whenever you guys played. But do you guys practice tackling at all?
What's happening? Welcome back to the podcast where we think we know everything, but we really don't know shit. We don't know shit. But we really do not know shit about this new Bears regime that's looming up on us. We don't know shit about it. All we can do is guess. All we can do is hope that, all these gaping holes will start coming together. It's not all gonna happen this year. If y'all thinking that, forget about that shit. That's not gonna happen. This is a developmental year. All right. So don't think about no Super Bowl. Don't think about a winning record. I mean, and I'm not being the party pooper Patrick. I'm just saying, it's not gonna happen this season. You know, Ryan Poles is doing a really good job, I think. You know, he's in the bargain basement. He's giving these dudes these let me see deals, let me see what you do. Then maybe, you know, maybe I can fuck with you long term next season. But you gotta prove it. You gotta prove you're trying to be here. So I'm not mad at him. A lot of people they have negative shit to say. Oh, Ryan Poles, he's not doing anything. But in actuality, he knows what he's doing. And for the most part, man, he's not overspending on, you know, just regular talent. He's not gonna do it. So anyway, I need to bring in my All-Star team. We can all talk about it. But before I do that, our guest tonight, old school. So if y'all don't know shit, beyond 2010, like behind 2010, then get your notepads ready. Write down some notes because we have former tight end Dustin Lyman. He played from 2000 to 2004. Yeah, some of y'all weren't even born. Man. Y'all was in your mama's stomachs. But yeah, he's gonna be on and he knows shit. And speaking of tight ends, we're gonna no homo. Come on, get your mind out of the gutter. We are going to talk about some tight ends, and we are going to talk about, you know who we're going to talk about, Cole Kmet. Hopefully he has that breakout year, man. But Dustin Lyman knows a lot about tight ends, so we're going to talk about it with him. But let me bring in my All-Star team. We have a guest All-Star tonight. Yes, I can't wait. And you're going to love him. But first up, my man, the stat man who knows every single stat from the 80s and 90s basketball and football, my man, JB. JB. What up, man? I think I lost my breath.
Just take a sip, get it back right.
Yeah, I got to get right.
But it's another Tuesday. What's going on, y'all?
Shit, I can't call it, man. Just is this supposed to storm tonight? Because it definitely looks like it's
I know it cooled off a little bit from when I went to the store earlier, but it's Chicago, man. We truly bipolar, so it is what it is. I don't even care.
Right. I don't care as long as it don't get real cold like before. I'm done with that shit. I don't want no more of that. So it can rain as long as it's reasonable outside. That's cool. But yeah, so we have a guest to the All-Star team tonight.
Let's see who it is.
My guy with the Hawk Talk, but there will be no Hawk Talk tonight. But he will bring the Hawk Talk when we do Hawk Talk. But let's bring him in. My man, Frank the Tank.
Yo, what's up, guys?
All right, Frank.
Man. And I gotta say, T, I'm loving the Blackhawks shirt, man.
Oh, you like
that Blackhawks shirt?
I've been wearing this shirt, but I don't know shit about hockey, y'all. I don't know shit about
I'll teach you up on it, dude. They suck right now, but it's all rebuild right now, man.
They suck right now.
Well, they're rebuilding, man. They just got taken out of the playoffs, but nobody expected them to make the playoffs.
Oh, okay.
But they still got superstars on their team, but they can't defend a thing. They have a horrible defense. That's their problem.
What about Taze and who's the other?
Taze and Kane?
They like old dudes now. Ain't they?
32. I mean, Taze, for the people who don't know, Taze came off a very, very severe illness that actually kept him out of all of last year. I kind of have a brain fart right now. I can't remember it, but it's kind of like, where the timing's off and everything. He lost so much weight. I can't remember the name of it right now, though. But it was scary because I remember when he did.
That sounds like what Luau Dang had that one playoff run.
Yeah, and like he said he was walking into walls and stuff. Like, I mean, there's no way you can play hockey if you got something like that.
Wow.
And this was his first year back, and everyone was all, oh, trade him, man. He's done. Tell him to retire, typical like what we're seeing with the Bears regime, Everyone's freaking out about it. Even though I love what the Bears regime is doing too. But like Tays, the second half of the season, once he caught on, man, he was one of the best two-way hockey players in the league again. And that's what the Blackhawks are missing. So yeah, the question is this offseason, rebuilding, are you going to trade those two? Because both of them have a no trade clause. And both of them came out and said they don't want to retire, or they want to retire a Blackhawk. They don't want to go anywhere else. They will go through this rebuild and help restart a rebuild again.
But ain't that what you're supposed to say though? When you're on the team, that's what you're supposed to say, right? Ain't nobody gonna say, man, I want to go somewhere else and retire. I don't want to retire here.
But I mean, you think of a lot of those front offices around any major sport, and I'd be the first to say that Blackhawks front office, I mean, they're top class. They treat players, families, apart from what happened recently during that.
Yeah, I was about to say after that, beyond that scandal, right?
Yeah. Other than that, which I mean, we can get into something like that once Hawk Talk starts and everything, but I can't poison that organization from making one big mistake, because every single player, family, parent, kids, everyone says the Blackhawks are top notch, which is why you still get elite players wanting to come wear that Indian sweater, because that's still the greatest sweater in the NHL, let alone maybe one of the greatest in professional sports.
Well, hopefully the Bears will get it right and take the model that the Blackhawks are using, because we sure could use it here, because we tired of Chicago Bears mistakes.
I know, man. I really hope that Arlington Heights Stadium really starts, when that starts coming about, is going to start driving in some big.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there's a proposal that Mayor Lightfoot, of which
I read that.
You read that? Hey, wasn't that crazy?
Right. It is crazy, but I still don't think the Bears.
Can we know what you read?
Go for it, JB.
So the current mayor, Mayor Lightfoot, feels that she's got a plan that'll entice the Bears to stay here, and she takes not so subtle jabs at Arlington and other suburbs.
In that little bullshit ass stadium, man.
Well, see, that's the thing. That stadium, you cannot do anything else to. Like, the people that built it have come out and said they cannot alter it any other way.
You'd have to tear.
Correct.
Down and rebuild it again, pretty.
But some speculate that the old McCormick Place, the black building that we grew up on, going to the auto show, that has enough space to put a top-notch stadium and still keep it in Chicago and on the lake. Now, I don't know about permits and all that political, whose palm you got agrees. I don't know about none of that. But between her getting trying to get these casinos approved and trying to keep the Bears to stay, I think she's trying to keep her job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Man.
Absolutely. Yeah, I read that too, and I understand.
This is what I have to say to Lori Lightfoot.
Yeah,
she gets one of those. I saw her the other day. I saw her at Menards. I think like a week ago. I saw her at Menards with her big ass security. She's a little lady. She's tiny. She's like
for nothing. It looks like, man.
But she had that afro spinning though. She had the afro spin, boy.
I don't know. Willie Wilson keep giving people free gas. He might be our next man.
He gonna be the dude, man. Everybody lining up for that gas.
Absolutely, man.
But you said trade.
I understand.
So you said trade early. I wanted to mention this. I just saw this.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot what the source was, but I just saw that the Bears are flirting with trading Robert Quinn.
Oh, I read that bull. For that, you talking about for that third round pick?
Was it a third round pick?
Yeah, I read that. It was first third round pick.
Yeah,
this guy just came off 17 sacks in the third round?
19.
Do you think that story?
I read another thing that that swung around though that said that pretty much Bears turned that down. Like they want more than a third round pick if they're going to be moving Robert Quinn.
At this point now,
at least an early second round.
Well, I see, and I was thinking, see, Frank, we think alike. But if you got a second and a fifth for Mac, Quinn should at least get you a second and a third, in my opinion. Especially like if your team is like a playoff contending team. So those lower tier teams where we talking Jets, Jags, Giants, somebody like that, I don't know how apt they would be to give us that earlier second round pick because they're in no position to win right away. But somebody like the Chiefs, somebody like the Saints who's knocking on the door that could use an edge rusher, somebody like, in my opinion, this might be taboo, but somebody like New England. Somebody like New England could use that type of edge rusher. And if we could get like a good second or third round pick, why not kick the tires at least? Because we're not going to get a first. But hell, they tearing down everything else, so might as well.
Let me ask you this question, though. Say we turn down that trade. We play Robert Quinn to start off the year. You know, we're not going to be that great of a team. We all know that. The thing is, we want to see everybody getting better. But say he comes out the first, 6-7 games, puts up 5-6 sacks, and you have an elite Super Bowl contender who wants a defender, aka just like what the Rams did with Von Miller. They gave up a first round for Von Miller. If you wait,
be patient, yes, but
it's a gamble.
It's a gamble. But the only thing that I look at it like this is because when you look at Von Miller. Let's say he's our outlier, right? Super Bowl MVP, surefire future Hall of Famer. Now he's got his second Super Bowl win. He's been to 3. He's going to the build. Like his age for his production is not a factor. True. So we're looking at it like, man, Robert Quinn's 31. He's on the wrong side of 30. I'm like, well, look at what Von Miller's doing on the supposed wrong side of 30. Look what a guy like Calais Campbell is doing on a so-called wrong side of 35. So there's still value. Hey, Mom, there's still value in that guy's production, whether he's 31, 32, 33, because you're catching him in this next 2 to 3 year window because you've got something that you need him to do now, not for the future. Yeah. We don't need Robert Quinn for in 5 years.
He's not going to be here after this contract. After his contract's up, and we're not going to. I mean, who knows what's going to happen next year? Because we did, and it's one thing I will say about this regime that I love. They cleared off so much salary cap for next year. So I mean, say if Fields does have a very good upcoming year, hey, then you're going to go out and try to get him some weapons with that money. Like, I mean, at least that's what I'd be doing. I mean, this year is kind of, I'm not going to really call it a throwaway year because I think you guys picked them, 5 wins?
Last year I picked them at 6 to 7 wins. This year I think I picked them at 3 or 4.
Oh, damn, JP.
Yeah, I went down. I went down. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to be a competitive 3 or 4, but I don't think they're going to try to win those games. I really don't. Because, it's taboo to say tanking. But we know teams do it.
Oh, absolutely.
But with this team presently constructed, it's not constructed right now to win. It's constructed to survive. And that's why I said, like, if we get 3, 4, 5 wins, like, I'm not really mad because I'm not looking for anything. I don't want another 9 and 8 season where we backdoor ourselves into the playoffs and then we lose, and then here we go with another mid-tier to late draft pick that.
Yeah, the typical Matt Nagy team right there.
Yeah, like if we're gonna really do it differently, let's get away from that.
I agree with that. And I mean, I'd play them more into the tank role if you did trade Robert Quinn for a 3rd rounder, if you did trade David Montgomery for, say, a 3rd rounder. Like if you start trading a lot of your big pieces, then I'd say if I had to pick one person that's not tradable right now other than Justin Fields, is Roquan Smith.
Oh, absolutely not. You better
those are your 2. I mean, that's your number 1 goal this offseason is to give that man an extension. Because he deserves it. That guy's going to be a beast.
So let me give you another untouchable that maybe nobody's on the right side of, but I feel Jalen Johnson's untouchable right now. I really do.
He's close to it. I'm still worried about him, though, man. Because he came out with that shoulder injury that dropped him down in the draft. That same exact shoulder popped him out his rookie season. Correct. He is elite when he's healthy, but I'm just worried about that shoulder. Because, I mean, if you watched him last year, I didn't really see him make any big hits. He didn't lean that shoulder in for a big hit, I don't think.
He didn't, but what I noticed was his pass coverage was more aggressive.
Way better.
He had a lot of pass deflections, and I'll take that.
Yeah.
I just fear. So if you playing chess with what the Bears pieces have now, you're not going to sacrifice your main people. But if you put just enough around so that Justin can take that next leap, but you have to still solidify your things on defense. Like Roquan can't go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You have to literally keep Jalen Johnson, because now it's hard enough to find a
second
cornerback number 2. Yeah. Now we got to go back and find a number 1. That's a little difficult. And Jesse, perfect. I agree. But here we go again. We're limited on picks. So if your hierarchy of preference is O-line, wide receiver, now you're looking at DB. Hell, we technically need a safety and a corner, because even though we got the guy, what's his name? Frank Trayvon, got him from Baltimore.
We just got him the other day.
We just got him, yeah.
We just got him.
I forgot his name.
And then we got a safety. Don't forget the week before we got a safety
too, yeah.
from the Titans.
From the Titans.
He's a solid number 2 corner that we got. I mean, he's solid.
He's solid, but again,
better than what we had. I mean,
does solid take you to the next level though, or does solid make you take a closer look at a Thomas Graham this year? Can he come out of that nickel position to CB2? Because right now, the main thing you have to do is well, that's what I'm saying. So when you have a plug and play player, somebody's going to come in right away, do his thing, you may have something. But when you got a guy that's kind of like, I guess, on a prove it deal, well, if he's not proving anything and he's gone, hell, you might as well let the guy that's in-house prove it.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, I don't see why you wouldn't, because if that's the case, why do you only sign these 1-year deals? It makes no sense.
Like he's building through the draft. I mean, that's his main goal. He wants to build through the draft. And it's nice to have a GM like that. Damn, like, because our GM would have traded his wife and kids to move up one spot to draft nobody. I mean, and I love the aggressiveness. I love being aggressive. But and I'm not saying I was completely upset that they traded up to get Mitch Trubisky, because nobody expected Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson to do what they're doing. But I mean, nobody even really knew Mitch Trubisky, but at the same time, like, he traded a lot to move up one spot. I felt like I was watching draft day.
So
seriously,
it's 2 big fleeces in the NFL history, in my opinion. The first fleece, the Herschel Walker trade.
Yeah,
that's the first fleece. Close second is this fleece, because come on, John Lynch was like, yeah, right. Sure, we're going to draft Mitch. Hey, tell the Bears we're drafting Mitch.
He faked their ass out.
Knowing damn well they wasn't drafting Mitch. It was funny because I remember the game. Ryan Pace tried to hide. A fan had took a picture of him. He was up at the North Carolina game, so he knew he wanted Trubisky from jump. We just didn't know that. That's why we were so shocked. Like, wait a minute. The guy from North Carolina only played 9 games. Like, that's what we want.
I mean, even they said on draft day when he was drafted, number 2 overall, he's a project. You don't draft a number 2 overall a damn project. That is not a damn project. All right, but I agreed he was a project, and unfortunately, when you made that Khalil Mack trade, that project was over.
It was right then and there. You knew it was. We got to win now.
You need to draft number 2 to come in and play, like Justin Herbert.
But see, that's no. Don't do that, because he
drafted him to come in and play.
But I'm saying so that's like saying I got this race to win, this drag race to win, and I'm driving a Lamborghini, and here I am showing up with a Honda. Like, you're not putting Mitch Trubisky in a position to be successful, because Justin Herbert coming out, you knew the minute he stepped on the field he wasn't going to get that job.
Yeah. And he played a lot more games in college too, Justin.
But I'm saying though, they drafted him to come in and play. They didn't draft him to come collect dust.
Yeah.
Or sit behind Tyrod Taylor. They drafted him to play.
Eventually, yes. But like I said, with Tyrod Taylor, you knew you had a bit of a bridge, a bit of a stopgap. Like, give him a couple of games, let him get acclimated. Like a guy like Baker came straight in, bam. straight to the starting lineup. Let's go. Daniel Jones, bam, come in, straight, let's go. Mitch Trubisky, we didn't know what he was because he didn't even start that many games in North Carolina. So to me, you're putting him, first of all, you're drafting off of so-called potential. Then you're putting him in a position to not succeed because now this defense is hyped up, it's elevated. You got this so-called offensive guru that we've been like clamoring for like forever. But then you got a puppet quarterback. Like that's not smart.
Yeah.
And then the whole running back situation back then, did you want Jordan Howard or did you not want Jordan Howard? It was too much.
He clearly didn't want Jordan Howard.
Jordan Howard in the playoff game was falling forward for 3 yards.
Yeah.
You give Jordan Howard the ball, there's no double doink. It doesn't happen because the Philadelphia Eagles never get the ball back to even go down and score. So
that signing of Matt Nagy was to turn the page of the Bears' history to try to bring in a new way to play Bear football. Matt Nagy didn't even need running backs. He would have put freaking a tight end back there to be a running back. It really wouldn't have mattered because he doesn't give the balls to running back. Their running game insists of, those little dump passes and everything like that. That's part of their run games. And that you couldn't do that with Jordan Howard. Jordan Howard was a traditional beast running back.
Of which, to me, there is still a place for that, especially
I agree.
In Chicago, when you got them crazy winds swirling and all whatnot. You got to still run the ball, guys.
I agree.
Tampa Bay won the Super Bowl 2 years ago. They still ran the ball with Leonard Fournette. Now, although the Rams won, they didn't have a great running attack, but they had multiple running backs. Yes, Jesse. Curl, flat. Curl, flat.
I'll never forget the whole, like I was literally sitting there as a couch potato, and I knew the exact play Matt Nagy was going to call 90% of the damn time.
Yeah,
let alone $2 million a year as a defensive coordinator or a linebacker, knowing exactly what he's going to play. It was like, oh, it's 4th and 1. I bet you $1 million that he's going to run a delayed handoff, because him and those beautiful delayed handoffs, when you had no offensive line to help with you, you would still run delayed handoffs.
The one that killed me the most was the RPO to Charles Leonard's side when Mitch would have to do that like delayed look and then take off and try to get. It's like, if Charles Leno got off his back foot, that play was dead.
Yeah.
It was already dead. But he kept calling it. And then I'm like, you got traditional screens you can run. I remember the one year David Montgomery had 1,000 yards in spite of Matt Nagy.
I know.
Like, what are we doing?
It's because he was averaging 8 yards per carry when he was only getting 10 to 12 carries a game. And he still put up 1,000 yards.
Yes. And then, well, here we go again. Terrence, you alluded to it. We don't know this regime, but now I'm trying to wonder, is there a place in this new system for a David Montgomery? Because he comes from Jonathan Taylor. Although we love Monty, Monty is more Derrick Henry than he is Jonathan Taylor. He's a first hit break tackle guy. He's a runner between the tackle, get up and get down. Now, is that going to work in this new system? We don't know, because we don't know Getsy's system either.
Yeah. But I mean,
we know what Aaron Jones does, but Aaron Jones has that extension in the passing game, that short passing game. But again,
he also has a quarterback named Aaron Rodgers. Nobody looks at Aaron. Nobody looks at him to run the ball. They're just watching Aaron Rodgers.
There you go. So
you have a quarterback
against ourselves currently,
He is. You're right, John.
He's one of the nicest, angriest.
One of the angriest runners ever.
And that's why I said, to me, I'm not calling him Derrick Henry. I said he's more Derrick Henry-esque than he is Jonathan Taylor. Jonathan Taylor's like a 4.2, 4.3 speed guy. He just get it, one cut, boom. That's what he was.
Well, I think D-Mo will definitely fit in this scheme, because Ryan Poles wants angry players. He wants dudes to play angry. So I definitely think David will fit somewhere in this offense.
I agree. I want him to fit. I'm just worried about, like you said, looking at the system that they're coming from.
I want him to fit. I want him to coexist with Herbert. But like I said a couple weeks ago, if one of them had to go, as much as I love Demo,
yeah, I agree.
I'm gonna stick with Herbert.
Yeah, but let me ask you this: is that because of the money?
No,
because this is the last year in Debo's contract.
No, that's because he's fast. He's much faster,
a
little bit more elusive.
Did you see Debo's off-season training?
He's fast.
Oh, he's cut some time down.
David Montgomery's fast.
He's hitting a 4.4 now, David Montgomery, in the 40-yard dash.
Faster than him.
Yeah.
But Herbert is pretty fast, man.
And Herbert can find those holes very nicely, too. But, I mean, it really depends. I mean, if you asking me who I'd rather have right now with you not having a lot of question marks on this offensive line, I probably would take Montgomery over Herbert. Like, you start building that offensive line because, I mean, as much as I would love to keep Montgomery this year or next year, I don't see the Bears doing it because Herbert's a damn good running back. He's a damn good running back, and you're not going to be able to pay Montgomery that big money when you have a very good second string running back right now.
Right now, all things equal, would you all call me crazy if I said Monty's a top 10 running back in the NFL?
No, I wouldn't.
Because he is.
I agree.
He is. He's like people rave about Josh Jacobs. Monty is a lot like Josh Jacobs, but a little bit better. You know, coming from Alabama, y'all remember Josh Jacobs?
Mm-hmm.
But
he killed us too.
I think he gets a bad knock because we had an idiot at the helm, and I will still. I mean, he's probably forgotten more football than I've ever known, but he's still an idiot. We have a chance to right the wrong of past regimes currently, but they devalue the running back position so heavily that if Monty has a great season, he's gone. He has a bad season, he's gone.
He needs a good season.
You know, it's like, what do you do? You're not going to pay him 15 million.
Comment. I don't know if I'd put Montgomery in a top 3 on that one comment, but I mean, I'd maybe even put him in the top 7.
Yeah, well, when I say top 10, you know, I'm usually somewhere around that 7, 8, 9 spot like that.
But yeah, I saw that comment with top 3. I don't know if I'd rank him in that top 3 right now. But
I don't know if I'd do that.
Yeah,
top
but I mean,
10 though, definitely.
Oh,
absolutely.
JB, you being the stat guy too, like I had this phenomenal stat that I found this past year. Like David Montgomery, what did he finish the season with? He was averaging, I think, 3.6 yards per carry. I think
I want to say it was 3.8, but it was more like he had like 843 yards or something like that. But he missed 3 games.
Okay, yeah, that's true with that knee.
3 or 4 games he missed.
Which I was shocked that it was only that much because that injury like scared me. Like,
but seriously, like it just like humor yourselves. If we say Derrick Henry, who do you say number 2? I'm not saying Ezekiel Elliott. I'm damn sure not saying him.
And it's definitely not what's his name? Saquon Barkley's not there anymore either.
He's
like, you don't have too many dominant running backs now.
So that's what I'm saying. It's not out that realm of possibility that you only name like 5 guys before you get to a Montgomery. Like seriously.
Yeah. And I know
because my next one that I'm going to say is Alvin Kamara.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. He might be battling with my number 1 too because it's dual.
And I'm going to say Dalvin Cook because although he's our neighbor to the north, that's a damn good running back.
Dalvin Cook is a monster.
He don't do nothing against us because we key in on him.
Yeah, but that was when we had Akeem Hicks, man. Akeem Hicks owned him.
Always
owned him.
So you see what I'm getting at? That's 3 right then and there. And let's
you
just
put
say
Aaron Jones in that top.
I was going to say just for the sake of conversation, I'll give you Aaron Jones. But then after that, now we go into Zeke, Leonard Fournette. What's my man name down in Arizona? Matter of fact, he just left Arizona. Where is he?
He left, yeah.
Is his name David something?
Now you're thinking of David Johnson. I can't think of his name, but they gave John Connor money.
Yeah,
and they let the little speed dude go. I forgot his name, but like, come on, David Montgomery's better than John Connor.
I agree.
Like, come on, the Terminator, stop it.
Yeah, but I mean, back to what I was saying though, too, with the David Montgomery 3.8 yards per carry. I had this stat that I saw: 37% of that guy's sacks he was hitting the backfield before reaching the line of scrimmage, and you still average 3.8 yards.
Yes,
that is freaking ridiculous. Ridiculous, man.
Oh, hell yeah, Jesse.
So we order
that.
Yeah,
definitely.
Can't forget about Nick Chubb. Do not forget about him.
I knew we were forgetting somebody there.
I definitely Nick Chubb.
Yeah, but I love Montgomery, man. I mean, my wife is a huge Iowa State fan. She went to Iowa State, so she loved David Montgomery too. Reading all his like stuff that he done with like cancer patients and foster cares coming out of college too. Like, love him, man. And he's one of the nicest guys on the like off the field and everything. And he is one mean SOB on that field, man. He will just plow your ass over if you don't attack him first.
And have you ever seen a guy get to the NFL and 2 years in a row shave time off of his 40? Have you ever seen that? I've never seen that. So I got to give that guy credit. He works his tail off.
Absolutely.
And he embodies like Bear football. He's got like that Walter Payton gene in him. Like, I'm just going to get better and better and better and better.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to stop. But moving on to the next year, though, like I said, we got a lot of money, but that doesn't mean Poles is going to like overpay for a David Montgomery, because in my opinion, you still have to address next year's free agency. You still got to address wide receiver at a high clip too, because Pringle and all them guys, they only on a 1 year deal.
Yeah,
you know, they better go sit down in DK's house right now and be like, I ain't leaving.
Please, DK, don't.
I ain't leaving.
I will buy a DK Metcalf jersey immediately if that happens.
Today, I'll do it today.
I probably would buy a Seattle one and a Bears one just to have it right next to him. I love that guy, man.
If I'm Ryan Poles, I'm calling his daddy right now. Like, hey, what we got to do?
So check it out. While we are waiting on Dustin, I have a little challenge for us as well as everybody in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
So this is called the 2-minute drill. Of course, I kind of messed it with the Post-it notes. So maybe we should just go ahead and start it. Let me find my. Here we go. All right. So the first one we got is something that what's the dude's name from let me show you his name. Can you see that?
Yes,
kind of small. Fishman? Yeah, Fishbank. So he posted the other day all of these Bears.
I did see that. I remember seeing that.
Former management that went to Atlanta. And I'm like, damn, flights to Atlanta must be cheap as hell. Everybody is going to Atlanta, man.
Yeah,
so
insane, man.
We got 2 minutes. Let's go ahead and chop it up about that. Anybody in the chat got something to say about that?
Yeah, I'm glad Jermaine Ifedi's ass is out of this building. That's for sure.
Man, you know what? Good thing he's out of there.
Yeah.
I only got one person on that list that I would have wanted to keep, and that's Cordero Patterson.
Absolutely.
Cordero.
Absolutely.
That's the only one that I would have wanted to keep.
I don't think we saw enough of Elijah Wilkinson. Like, he had some promise, but
Can you imagine though Poles coming into this door and seeing that offensive lineman sitting there, like he's like, oh yeah, you're the one who slapped our rookie linebacker or lineman for sticking up for. Get the hell out of here, dude. What the?
Yes.
When he did that, I hated him for the rest of his time with the Bears. I was like, dude, get out of here.
Little coward.
If you go and watch the other tape, when he did that, people were looking at him like, no, you're the idiot. Like,
yeah.
He should be praising that man for coming into Justice's aid and protecting his quarterback. Matter of fact, why didn't you do it?
Yeah, right. Like you'd want an offensive lineman who does that, and it takes our rookie to come out and do that. Who I can't wait till he has a full training camp under his belt and he's in shape to play. Because
oh no, what is this? I'm reading Cole Kennedy. You said right because Pace is there. He's lazy on the scouting tip. Well, that's Atlanta's problem. Look,
yeah,
I haven't cared for the Falcons since what? Deion Sanders?
Right. I don't even know if Pace ever scouted, man. That dude just trusted everybody else to handle it.
No, remember he scouted Mitch.
Yeah, good on that one. It hit under the hood.
And wait, and a lot of people don't remember this. Phil Emery, before he became GM, Phil Emery was a scout.
I didn't know Phil Emery was a scout. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Because remember, Phil Emery came after Jerry Angelo.
Yeah.
So Jerry Angelo had put that team in a great position.
And then Emery killed it.
Yeah. Mark fired Lovey.
Yeah.
Hired Mark Trestman of all. Mark.
All right. Let me get onto that because I know, and I saw with other Bears talking about how do you fire Lovey. But would you have not fired Lovey?
10-6? No, I wouldn't have.
It's just tough because you wanted to take that next step. And you wanted to get into that offensive style football, and Lovey didn't have that. That was the problem. And I'm not dissing Lovey. I love Lovey. And if you go back with that, obviously you would have kept Lovey over Trestman because Trestman's going to go down as one of the worst right next to Matt Nagy.
So, quid pro quo. Let me put this on your brain. You fire a head coach, your second longest tenured head coach, right? Second longest tenured head coach of the modern era, not counting Papa Bear because, but in a 10-6 season of which if they win the Minnesota game, they're 11-5 and go to the playoffs. Yep. Some unfortunate things happen. But when's the last time you went to a Super Bowl?
Yeah, with Lovey.
So this coach puts your defense relevant, has Chicago winning and relevant, beats the Packers on enough occasions and wins the division a couple times, took you to a Super Bowl, and the only knock on him is the defensive coach that you hired to be your head man doesn't have great offensive schemes.
Yeah.
So that tells me the management is messing up. Hey, Lovey, do what you do. Me as the GM, I'm going to pick your OC because we got to get this right.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I think Chicago is known for this. Chicago sports are known for this.
I think they are, Frank, but again, when you put the cart before the horse in this position, you're like cutting your nose to spite your face because you just came off
a 10-6
winning season. It's not like you were 6-10 or 2-14. You were 10-6, and literally one game, 2 plays, if my memory serves, 2 plays from going to the playoffs again.
And with that defense, you still had a shot in the playoffs. It didn't matter, man.
And then look at the guys. So we had Mike Martz. Then we had, was it not John Shute? He got a Ron Turner, right? So it's not like we haven't. Now, Mike Martz, on paper, you look at Mike Martz, you like, oh, man, Rams, greatest show on turf. Yeah, but that was like that long, 4 or 5 years.
You put Mike Martz Eagles with Jay Cutler's ego. That did not blend.
Absolutely not. Absolutely.
I remember is that one talk when he was just like, tell Mike Martz I said F you. Like right on camera saying that.
But again, Lovie Smith took a team to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman as his quarterback. He had some success with Kyle Orton, who's, in my opinion, better than Rex Grossman. Then you get volatile, maybe I don't want Smoking Jay to play, or maybe I'm going to be Jay today play. Like, Lovey can't control Cutler. You gave me Cutler. I didn't go out and pick him. You gave him to me. So I'm trying to make, lemonade out of lemons, but you fire me for going 10-6?
That's crazy.
Wait,
that's
crazy. You let Greg Olsen go. What the hell was that about?
That was a Mike Martz decision on that one, and that's when you just wanted to kill Mike Martz on that one.
Like
he only wanted blocking tight ends.
Right, and it's like all the stuff that if you really break it down, y'all, all the things that were in the Bears' favor slowly started to erode. Slowly got put on here and there. And it's like, did we really have a chance to win? Because I'll be 100% with you. Going from Dick Geron and Greg Bloss over to Lovey, and I believe the first one was Rod Marinelli the first D coordinator?
He was the first, yeah.
Oh, right.
He was the first.
That was almost like an even switch. Like a lateral move because both those dudes preach defense. They preach get to the ball. They preach hard-nosed football. Love you the same way. The only difference was quarterback. Quarterback. That's it.
And I'm trying to remember on one of the Bears post games a while back, too. I believe it was Olin Kreutz who said, I'll tell you this right now. If Jay Cutler was our quarterback in that Super Bowl year, we'd won the Super Bowl.
There you go.
I 100% believe that. And I will still, to this day, debate anybody and light this chat up when I say it. Jay Cutler is the greatest quarterback in Bears history. You say what you want. Statistically, he is the greatest quarterback in Bears history. And then I got people arguing with me saying, oh, Jay Cutler didn't have all these running people. Like, he just didn't. I was just like, you're fighting me that Jim McMahon is the best quarterback in Bears history. But he had Walter Payton and that Bears defense.
I would never say Jim McMahon.
People always keep fighting me saying Jim McMahon is because he won the championship.
I think Eric Kramer would be a good argument.
Kramer would be up there. And if you're still going to fight anybody with
Kramer
Jake,
has the best single season. He has the best single season.
Yeah. But that was the thing. Kramer had 2 good years with the Bears, really?
Remember, he got hurt twice.
Jake Cutler didn't have no good years with Bears.
Yes, he did.
He had a lot of big years. Because unfortunately, he had a lot of
mediocre. He had mediocre years.
No. See, I can't let you do that because I'm gonna be. So here's another travesty. Here's another travesty. The Bears had a season where they sent 4 offensive people to the Pro Bowl. Can you name them? Can you name them?
That was Jay Cutler.
No,
Jay Cutler didn't make it actually that year. Actually, he did not make it that year. It was Martellus Bennett.
Nope, that's another year. Nope.
It wasn't Kyle Long.
You know what?
Kyle Long. You want me to tell you?
I think we should table this until later because our guest is backstage.
Because I want to talk about this tight end situation because I love
it. Oh, man, come on.
He's definitely the dude to talk about when it comes to tight ends. Also, when it comes to business. He's probably one of the most shrewd business dudes out of football that you'll ever see. And we really like to see when former athletes they're planning for their future before they even get out of football. And that's exactly what our guest tonight was doing.
Wake Forest got that great business school right there, man.
He went to UFC and got his UFC. You know how hard it is at UFC?
Yeah.
Man, shit.
That's a big business school right there, man.
Man, it's hard as hell. But anyway, so after football, he went to UFC. He said, fuck this. I'm going to get my shit. I'm ready. And he went on to be the CEO of Mrs. Fields Cookies. I know you know about them cookies, Frank.
Love it. When I found out he was here, man, you don't know how tempted I was to go out. And if you would have told me I was going to be on this podcast early enough, man, my ass would have went out and got me some.
You'd have got about
it. That with my whiskey, I'll tell you that for sure. That's some good cookies.
Man, one of them chocolate chip walnut joints with the butter. Oh man, come on.
So now he's back in Colorado. He has a ski resort. I know y'all can't ski. I know y'all can't ski.
I've been to Colorado to ski. I just
I'm a hockey player, dude.
So let's bring him in. Former Chicago Bears tight end Dustin Lyman.
Hey, Dustin. You're still looking like you could suit up and play tight end for the Bears.
You're looking real fit now, brother. Real fit.
Yeah. I mean, you kind of go one of two ways when you stop playing. You either get real fat or you stay in shape. And so,
you took the right road on that one, man.
Had to. So, yeah. How's it going?
Good. All right. Good. All right. Can't complain at all. We're just watching what these Bears are doing right now. Ryan Poles, that's the new GM. He's
I was enjoying hearing what you guys were talking about, and so I actually it's good for me to catch up. I went to a game last year. I went to the 49ers game.
You saw that Fields run?
Yes. Oh my God,
man.
Yeah, but he saw that Debo ass whooping too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. And yeah, that was the two things I remember from that game was I had to go out and buy Justin Fields jerseys for my kids, and then
Nice.
and then I remember thinking that the Niners were pretty good. I thought Jimmy was pretty good, and then they were
very
pretty
well
good.
coached right there, man.
Yeah, and
Very
so
well
and then everything kind of. I mean, so many changes now in the off season, and I don't know. I mean, is it good? I guess. What do you guys think? I guess did we have the weapons for Justin to be successful?
We definitely did not.
Not
we didn't.
really.
We had better weapons then when we do now, but I think we didn't have the coach who knew how to put those weapons in the right place.
Right.
Yeah. Because is Allen Robinson gone now?
No, he was. Yeah, he's gone. He signed with the Rams, didn't he?
Yeah, he signed with the Rams.
Right.
He signed. Matter of fact, he signed a prove deal.
Getting another big time player.
Like 15 or 16 mil.
15.6, yeah, 15.6 million.
15.6.
From what I read, he turned down 17.5 for the Bears to go to a team who actually respects him.
I mean, I hope that's not true, but hard to imagine it wouldn't be. I mean, it's just like there's just hasn't been much success for a long time, and it's too bad because I love Chicago. It's a great city, and it's got great fans, and it should have a great team. And so, it's just too bad. And it's not fun for me being a former Bear. And that was the only team I played for. I played 5 years in Chicago and enjoyed every minute of it. And so it would be every year. I'm hopeful that the team puts something good together, and it just hasn't happened yet. And it doesn't sound like you guys are that.
They just let you
optimistic.
down.
Yeah.
So we're cautiously optimistic this year because we don't
with a new
know
regime.
We don't know the regime at all.
Yeah. So the head coach? He's defensive head coach, right?
Yeah, he came from Lovie Smith and Rob Marinelli type coaching style. So
okay, I mean, Tampa 2 type defense. I mean, all right, that's okay. I mean, you could, Chicago can win with defense. I mean, it just seems like though, if you kind of have a promising quarterback, you should probably load up on offense, right? I mean, yeah. Anything going to happen in this spring? I mean, what are you guys hoping for?
Well, I mean, key things is they really don't have a lot of draft picks because our former GM, like I was saying, would trade his wife and kids and 6 picks to move up one spot.
Okay.
He traded away pretty much our entire future.
Okay.
I felt like. And so Poles was put into a rough position when he came in. There's no doubt about that. But he traded away, superstar Khalil Mack. He got some picks there. Traded away a couple of players, got some picks. So he's gotten a few more picks, but he's also saved a lot of salary cap for next season. So I feel like this might be like let's see what we got with Justin Fields this year, build the system around him, and then go out and get him weapons next year.
I mean, I kind of like I would say I kind of like the Khalil Mack trade. I like Khalil Mack. He was a nice player, but he seemed to get tired at the end of the games all the time. And that's kind of when you need that big play right there in the fourth quarter. So I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends. He was probably going to go. Where did he go? Did he go to the Raiders?
The Chargers.
The Chargers. Okay.
Playing on the other side of Bosa.
A big reason why
that's a problem.
A big reason why Khalil would get winded is because he has to fight 2 and 3 players every game. Yeah. So of course he would get winded, and then you add his age into that equation.
Yeah.
So it was time. It was
the main fact though.
It was a good trade, huh?
The main fact was, remember, he battled injuries.
Yeah, he didn't practice that much.
He didn't practice that much.
He was always hurt, nagging injuries.
And then he was least productive when Akeem Hicks was out because now they shifted the whole side to him.
Right. But you guys agree? I wasn't just imagining that, right? He got
you're right. Spot on, brother. Spot on.
Yeah, he was good. I mean, he was exceptional. But you're right. You cannot have just one good player on offense or defense and expect it to make all the difference, right? You got to have a squad. And so, Well, that's good. I mean, how is salary cap space then for the Bears? Is it all eaten up for this season, and then they're planning on next year? Is that what it looks like?
Pretty eaten up.
We got just a little bit left, but you know that's for the draft. So I don't think they might kick the Larry O again, but I don't know why, because the other guy we got from the Chargers, Justin Jones, he plays
spot,
right. He plays D tackle at the 3 technique. So
okay, that's good.
I like that Larry's got that attitude though, that
he wants to come here and prove.
Poles has. He does want to come here, and Poles likes him. He just, they had a contract ready to sign. He failed his physical because he had that foot surgery in the offseason. And I guess that foot didn't heal properly. The ankle didn't heal properly, and so he failed the physical. And they're still trying to sign him for less money now.
So, Dustin, let's talk about you. You were a linebacker.
People don't know that. Yep.
You were a linebacker. And I know the reason why you were moved to tight end, but why don't you tell us why you were moved to tight end?
Yeah, I mean, I had played tight end in high school and got recruited as a tight end to a lot of different schools, but I really, really preferred to play defense. And Wake Forest gave me that opportunity, and then it was amazing then because I was, I had been all ACC and successful at linebacker. I went to the combine as a linebacker, and most teams were looking at me as linebacker. And so when the Bears were interested in, kind of started asking questions about tight end, and then they came down to Wake Forest to have me run routes and catch balls and do some of the tests that tight ends typically do. It started to get more serious. And then when they drafted Brian, then with I think he was the 9th pick in the first round. And, they obviously he's, they no need to get 2 guys at the same position, and they liked us both. And I was, I guess I still had that tight end skill set. I was tall, I could run pretty well, and I could catch pretty well. And so, they called me 3rd round, I think 87th pick, something around there, and asked me if I would do it. And of course I said yes. I mean, being, 22 years old and excited for the opportunity. And so, and felt pretty confident that I could do it. So I made the switch and then got to training camp. And all of a sudden, after, 4.5 years of playing linebacker at Wake Forest, I was all of a sudden, playing tight end in the NFL, which was not easy, but it was an exciting challenge. And I just, worked really, really hard to kind of pick up the game planning and then just be physical on the field. And, I felt like I made the most of it.
Yeah, clearly.
How many different quarterbacks did you play with?
Well, that's part of the reason I didn't want to play tight end in college is because when you're a skilled position on offense, you're so dependent upon the quarterback, obviously, and then also, the offensive coordinator and the coaching staff and what plays they're going to call, because if they're not going to throw it to you or they can't throw it to you, then you can't really be that successful. And that's kind of a lot of risk to put in other people's hands. And when I was in Chicago, in 5 years, I've done that. I've counted it before, but I think we had 9 or 10 or 11 different starting quarterbacks. We went 13-3. I was the best year that I was there. Jim Miller was the quarterback.
He got hurt.
Yeah, he did. He got hurt in that Philadelphia game in the playoffs, and it was too bad. And Jim was not, and he would be the first to admit it. Like, he wasn't an incredible athlete by any means. A smart guy, tough guy, but continuity at that position, having someone in there that has confidence, understands the offense, and is in there game after game, makes a huge difference. Every other time, it felt like we'd have one guy for 3 weeks, and then he was. Either it was his fault or maybe it wasn't his fault or he got hurt. And, then you switch to somebody else and it's a tough position to just jump right in there on Sunday and be successful. And every time you just do that over and over and over, the quarterbacks, and you guys probably remember some of these names, Henry Burris, Jonathan Quinn.
Jonathan Quinn. Yep.
Yeah.
Cordell Stewart.
Cordell. Yeah. Mark
Craig
Hartzell.
Krenzel.
Craig Krenzel. Yeah. I mean, some of those guys, like, I mean, like, they're great, and they're great guys. I mean, but I didn't know where they were from or who they were, anything about them, and here they are, starting quarterback for the Chicago Bears.
And then the Packers had Brett Favre.
Right. Right. And so it's tough. It's tough. It's tough to be, to go through that. And then we had so Dick Duran and Lovie Smith were the two head coaches I played for. Mm-hmm. But then I had John Shoup as an offensive coordinator who was solid for a year. Gary Croton. I had some other guy. I can't remember his name right now.
It's sad that you have all these people and you can't remember. Man.
Terry Shea. Oh,
Shank,
man.
Yeah.
Was that the wide receiver screen guy?
Yo, jeez.
Oh, Lord.
And he used to cry in the locker room and stuff.
Wait a minute. He would cry in the locker room?
Yeah, I mean, he was an emotional guy. I think it was kind of, it was like the Dick Vermeil kind of calling.
I was just about to say Dick Vermeil part 2.
Yeah. And there's
Dick Vermeil won.
That's it, right? You can do whatever when you're winning. It doesn't. Man. Yeah. But so yeah, we had some ups and downs, but it was the revolving door at quarterback and coaching staff that's just the killer, man. I mean,
just sad that door is still open.
And that's what
it is still the same exact crap.
We traded Ryan and Matt for another Ryan and Matt.
Yeah, right.
So we got rid of Ryan Pace and Matt Nagy. So now we have Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus.
Yeah.
Hopefully they will stick. Yeah. Hopefully.
We've been saying hopefully every single time a new regime came in.
Well, you know what? I got to be that guy. I'm going to be that guy, Dustin.
Be that guy. You always that guy.
I'm always that guy, Dustin. So the coach that you played for at Wake Forest is actually the guy that I wanted hired as either the Bears head coach or the OC. Speak a little bit about how playing for Jim Caldwell was.
Coach Caldwell, he's fantastic. I just actually stay in touch with Coach Caldwell, and I talked to him a little bit when I thought he was sounded like he was maybe in the running for that Miami job. He was a finalist for that job. And I think like the day I texted him, I was like, good for Miami if you're the man. And they named the other guy, whoever they got now. So I was actually thinking about it. I'm like, I'm glad he's still kind of in the mix because he is a great coach and he's always been a great quarterback coach. Really, that was the best part. I mean, he's such a he's a smart guy. He's a thoughtful guy. He's able to kind of because I don't know. I mean, it's just like putting a ton of intense pressure, screaming and yelling on a young quarterback is just not that effective in my mind. And Jim's not really like that. He's a much more even-keeled, intelligent person that gets the point across, can help counsel somebody through, how to prepare for a game, good motivation, a lot of motivation from Coach Caldwell. And then, he's an intelligent coordinator and a great head coach. I mean, he's a fantastic head coach. He always puts good people around him, people that know the game. So I thought the same about Chicago. I'm like, with the young quarterback, that would be a great fit. But I don't know where that went.
But correct me if I'm wrong. The last batch of Bears quarterbacks has just been trying to find somebody who would gel with your quarterback, and that has failed miserably.
Yeah, I mean it's
Matt Nagy was an offensive guy with Pat Mahomes. Supposedly, he was the one who drafted Pat Mahomes. And then, I can't remember.
Draft Pat Mahomes.
But I
can't credit for that though. But then so does,
But if you remember, so we had Matt Nagy. So Eberflus defensive coach, Nagy offensive coach. Then we had before Nagy.
Was it John Fox? John Fox also was a very good quarterbacks coach.
Absolutely. Then we had, we go back to Tressman. So literally the last 4 coaches were offense, defense, offense, defense. But the defense at those times when we had an offensive coach wasn't the problem. It was vice versa.
Absolutely.
So it was almost like, I remember, what was his name? They was going to give him a head coaching job out of high school. Josh McCown. Like they were riding the Josh McCown train super, super heavy. And he had caught like lightning in a bottle for, a couple of games or whatever. But it was like we had to get that type of performance, like that I hit the lotto performance in order to succeed, as opposed to actually developing. To this day, we still are the only franchise to never have a 4,000-yard passer. Never. And I want to say we are one of the only regimes to have the most starting quarterbacks. I think it's like us, the Jets, and then it was like I forgot
the Browns. I think we're on that mix too. Yeah,
it's like how are we the charter franchise and we don't check certain simple boxes?
We only cared about defense. All those it was defense.
It is amazing. There do seem to be like certain franchises where like good players go and kind of become terrible players.
Yeah. Chicago to this day is still known as the place to go where quarterbacks go to die.
Yeah.
It is. It's still known for that. And it's sad.
God, we had Tom Collins. Remember him from Michigan? Tom Collins? He was scared, like he was shaking in the huddle. Like,
did you play with him, Dustin?
Was it Kerry Collins? Who was the? No,
you had Todd Collins from
Todd Collins.
Kerry Collins played for the Panthers and the Titans.
Yeah, okay, he was a pretty good quarterback.
The Raiders,
right?
What year was McCown drafted?
I played with Kyle Orton, and I was like, I stopped playing the year before Jay Cutler came in, and which seemed promising, but didn't work out, right? I mean, he got the Super Bowl, right? Or that was Rex.
No, he lost it. Yeah, he got to the NFC Championship game. Cutler.
Yeah, Rex was nice. I mean, he was just kind of short, right? And not dominant. Yeah, and I mean, you got to have the weapon. I mean, it's like anybody's going to come and like underperform if they don't have anybody with good hands or good speed and like multiple players at multiple positions. Good running back, got to have offense. I mean, that was the thing in Denver. It was always like what Elway always said. It was Terrell. It wasn't until Terrell Davis got there that they won the Super Bowls, right? I mean, you got to be able to open up the defense in a lot of different ways. You just put it on like one guy and athletic ability. I mean, you can get a couple games out of that, a couple wins out of some, just an incredible athlete. But to really be able to string together a whole season and then multiple seasons, right? Like, you got to have a lot of things. Like, I mean, we'll see, I guess, right, with Mahomes, with like losing Tyreek and
his contract's killing them now,
right? And we'll see with Green Bay. I mean, it seems like there might be an opportunity to beat.
They don't have anybody.
He has nothing. He's throwing at the grocery baggers right now. Right. There's nobody out there, but it's still Aaron Rodgers throwing him the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to make everybody look great in the regular season, but he can't make them look great in the postseason.
Right.
That's always been his flaw. He's going to go down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time during the regular season.
Yeah. I know. He's lucky he got that one early, right? Yeah. That one Super Bowl early. Because
he kind of snuck under the radar with that one.
Yeah.
That got McCarthy a big contract with Dallas, and he's failing in Dallas right now galore.
Yep.
So.
But, remember Holmgren did the same thing with Brett Favre. They only got one.
Yeah.
So it was like.
What is it, like 38 years of two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and you got two Super Bowls?
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah, that's you're rough. Right. That's not that great.
Yeah, that's rough. And I mean, and you could even talk about the Bears now. Like, they have a good running back, and we're hoping that they have a really good quarterback. They have a good, we could all say a 1B wide receiver in Mooney. I think he's a very good wide receiver. The question is, nobody knows if he's going to be your number one. But, that's going to be the question this year because he is going to be your number one this year. So we'll see.
I think you have to put him in that Cooper Kupp role, though.
Yeah, absolutely. That slot pushing in the center. Yeah, and you need that big though. And what they got that one, 7th string wide receiver from the Packers. That's their only big wide receiver right now.
St. Brown, 6'5", 4'3", 740.
But we'll
Brown,
see with the draft.
Big dude.
Yeah, we'll see with the draft because there's some good big wide receivers out there in the draft.
So what are they predicting?
It depends on who you're listening to because
yeah.
Some guys mock draft. So I don't know, like depending on if you're a Mel Kiper guy, if you're a Tom McShay guy. We over here on this show, we kind of like do our own due diligence and stuff. But if you go O-line, they still want the kid Linden. What's his name? Lindenbaum.
Linden, yeah,
from Iowa with the 39th pick. But there's also need at safety. There's a wide receiver. You remember Carl Pickens that used to play for the Bengals?
Mm-hmm.
So his son is coming out in the draft, George Pickens from Georgia. He's one that they're looking for. Sky Moore from Wyoming. Watson from North Dakota State. Like, there's some names out there. Jahan Dotson from Penn State. But, again, we're talking about top talent that probably not going to be there.
Yeah.
So now what do you do? Because, again, we don't know how good this scouting department is. It's their first time.
The Bears have a lot of holes, man. The Bears have a lot of holes. I feel like it is going to be a best available.
It's a best available because let me hit you to a little information. First year head coach, first year offensive coordinator who's never called plays before. Second time D coordinator who last time he played, he was a defensive coordinator, was ranked 30th, which was with the Minnesota Vikings and Leslie Frazier as the head man. Rookie special teams coach. Like, everybody's brand new. Yeah, that's tough, right?
That's why you just don't know what you're going to get.
It could be good. It could be. I mean, it could come together. It could be a lot of energy, that all hits at the right time. But yeah, if it's not going well, that's going to be stressful.
Oh, and I forgot the most important one. First time GM. Like,
so
it's like a new shiny toy.
One of the biggest things that we're wondering about this new regime is, are they finally going to value the tight end again?
Yeah.
Because the Bears have not valued the tight end
Greg
for a
Olsen.
while. We haven't valued the tight end since Greg Olsen.
Yep.
Right.
We kind of didn't value him. We let him go.
Mark's decision.
We went and got Matt Nagy, Matt Nagy or whoever else was on that staff, went and got Jimmy Graham. They didn't use him.
No, I know. I didn't think he was even on the roster still until I looked at it.
This is the thing with Jimmy Graham, and I will say is they used him for the first 4 or 5 games of every season, and then they stopped.
Yeah, why?
Like, you would literally go like the first 4 or 5 games in the season out there 100% of the time in the red zone. And he was your main target in the red zone. And then going into the later halves of the season, he's not even out there in the red zone anymore. It's just like, what are you doing?
Right.
Like, at least put him out there as a decoy then if you're not going to throw it to him.
And then they drafted a tight end, Cole Kmet. They don't really even use him.
They don't.
He's pretty good too. I mean, from what I can tell, he's pretty good.
He's decent.
Do you like him? I mean, he's a Notre Dame kid.
I'm a Notre Dame guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, he can catch the ball. He can get 15 yards when you need it. So, I guess, to be honest, you guys would know better than I. I haven't really dug into it. All I've noticed is when he occasionally catches a ball, he looks like he's all right. I mean,
he doesn't have soft hands though. That's one of the knocks about him. He's stiff.
Stiff. He's pretty big, isn't he?
He is. He's big and he's
5'5", like 260.
When he catches that ball, he doesn't go down on first contact, and sometimes
he reminds me of Mark Bavaro without the for sure hands. If that could paint a picture.
Well, I mean,
without the for sure.
And Dustin, with you being a tight end, tell me this, to find a rhythm in catching the ball, you need to consistently get the ball thrown to you.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely.
Average 1.3 yards passes a game, catches a game. He's not throwing the ball.
No, because if you watch, I mean, who's the big guy in Kansas City?
Travis Kelce.
Yeah, Kelce. I mean, he'll drop a couple balls. He'll drop a couple balls every game, but they keep feeding him, and then right, and then you're in a rhythm. You got the lather, and then when they when they need you in third and fourth quarter, you're there. You can't like just keep somebody on ice and then, expect a miracle. I mean, that happens with the best receivers and the best tight ends. Like they'll drop balls, they'll bounce off their chest or face mask or hands from time to time, but they keep coming back to them if you have confidence in them, and they get into a better rhythm. I mean, that is part of it. They got to when they find people and they like them and they invest in them, they just got to keep going to them. And if you don't like them, then they got to kind of find somebody new. Like keep looking until you find that that person that the other guy is good is the kid. What San Francisco's got they got that good tight end, and there's a bunch of Kittle. You're right, Kittle, and then there's some new, like there's that kid in Buffalo. He's good. There's
a lot. Tight ends are coming back.
Yeah, they keep, and so, but they're hard to find. I mean, it's hard to find people with a frame like that can run and catch and do it all. So it's fine if they don't like who they've got, then they got to go find somebody that they do like. But when they do find that person, they got to go to them often.
And hopefully this year it will be that, because they don't have any wide receivers. Hopefully you will use them a little bit more. But like one stat that I saw last year, and I don't know if you saw this stat, but when he averaged more than 6 passes a game, he caught the ball 90% of the time.
Yeah, and he had a couple of
he
just needed
a first down guy.
He was absolutely. But I mean, there were a lot of stuff like, I mean, even Jimmy Graham came out and said it was like Nagy's system offensively was so damn confusing. Like people would run the wrong routes constantly. Tight ends would be turning the wrong way constantly. Tight ends would be running in their own guys. Like, I mean, you could always look at that and blame your offensive team on that one, but at the same time, when it's consistently happening, you got to come back and blame your coach.
I mean, I hate it when like you said at the beginning of the show. I mean, I'm a smart enough guy, and I used to hate it when it was so confusing. It was like you could barely get out of your stance. I mean, it's there's no need to make it that confusing. I mean, almost at the end of the day, the plays in the NFL are very similar across the teams, and then occasionally you get something exceptional, right? You get a special play here and there, but by and large, I mean, they've been running the same plays for years. They still run the same plays now that they ran when I was playing. So there's really no need to overcomplicate it. I mean, that's one of the things Coach Caldwell used to say. He said, "We'll give the other team our playbook." You still got it. I mean, at the end of the day, it comes to man on man and who can stop somebody.
Nagy's playbook was called the Denny's menu.
It was.
That thing was it was so predictable. It was ridiculous.
I'm glad you said that though, Dustin, because I remember a lot of old games. I go back and I just watch because I'm like a football junkie. You guys used to have an 11 personnel. I believe James Allen, right? Was you guys running back that year? Like,
yeah. Yep.
And when you all came out in that personnel, it was you and a guy by the name of Fred Baxter. You wore 89, Mike Dick's number. You had a lot of, but you guys knew, get to that spot, turn around because Jim's coming.
Yeah.
Like the confusion was not like zig, overcross. Like it was get to the spot, turn around. James Allen would do that. Let me do that little underneath cut and go up the sideline.
Oh yeah, no, it was very simple at the end of the day, because and the other thing is like you get into these things where it's like they're checking depending on where the safeties are aligned, and then if they're like changing during the play, it's like then it changes your route fundamentally. And there may be some of that stuff in the NFL, but like to have like all 4 of your wide receiver and tight end modifying after the snap, I mean that's brutal. I mean, it's great if it works, but it doesn't work very often.
So you think is it the language? Oh, go ahead, Frank. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, you even have your offensive linemen who were coming out and saying that they were confused. I was like, you have one job to block. How the hell is that confusing? But they said the way Nagy shifted and moved offensive linemen around and everything, you would put offensive linemen in motion, for God's sakes. It was just like
you don't have to do it, because I mean, you're trying to design plays where people are wide open. It's like that never happens in the NFL. No. At some point you got to beat somebody, and the quarterback's got to throw a good ball. And and they're good enough. I mean, they're good enough to get to get the right leverage, to get that little bit of separation and make a catch. So, yeah, that's tough. Makes me sick thinking about it.
But that brings me to my next point with you then, because now with Justin, in my opinion, I say this is his rookie year because we know Nagy didn't script much for him last year. He didn't play with the number ones he didn't practice fully with the number ones until I think week 2 or 3, that Cleveland game.
Don't bring up that game. Don't bring up that game.
So in your opinion, I grew up, a rookie quarterback's best friend is a tight end in the running game. That's his best friend. So do you feel that this regime has to simplify as opposed to trying to be the smartest guy in the room?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's so many young quarterbacks, but like I remember with Rex and with Kyle when I was playing with them, you know, it was always a comfort to like be able to throw like an 8-yard out, you know, especially early in the game, and and just get some momentum going, pick up a couple first downs, and then start to throw in, a little bit of color and a little bit of flavor in there. But early in the game, early in the season, like stick to the bread and butter. You can move the ball that way. I mean, I really feel that way. I mean, you can do a lot with just unders and crosses, and,
especially in that cold
I
Bears
say
weather,
all
man.
the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the speed that Mooney has, run him across the field, like always.
I mean, they did do that a lot, but only because they had a broken offensive play, and then Mooney ran across the field, and then he picked up a nice 25, 30-yard gain. Like, he's got the speed. You do that, absolutely.
The Patriots, I mean, you're right. Like 3 seconds and out of the hand. I mean, you got to keep it simple if you're going to get rid of the ball quickly.
Yeah, I mean the 3 passing yards a game, right?
Mm-hmm.
They had that one game.
Yeah, but remember they always had.
passes.
Remember they had bigger tight ends too that can move.
They did.
I take you all the way back to Ben Coates.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. So if that big guy can move and get that ball in open spaces, like I know, come on, somebody like Cole Kmet can get open. We love a guy, Dustin Jesper Horsted. Are you familiar with him?
No, who's he?
So he's the guy that Justin has thrown the most touchdowns to.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the problem, is nobody knows who he is either.
As far as from the tight end room. But he's Frank, help me out. Was he a Yale or Harvard?
Yale. Yeah. He was definitely an Ivy League.
He was Ivy League, dude.
Yeah, so real smart guy, gets open, beautiful hands. You love his hands. Wait till you see. Beautiful
he
hands.
has great hands.
Catch radius.
Never seen him drop a pass, honestly.
But Nagy did not put him in. And I'll even say this. There was a play. It was the first Green Bay game, right? There was a play where they were screaming for Jimmy to come in for the jump ball. They didn't bring him in. They brought in Cole Kmet, and we found out Cole Kmet couldn't jump. Princeton, he went to Princeton. Thank you. I'm my man, Christian Shanafeld. What's up, Christian? But we were screaming for like, hey, go double tight, Jimmy Graham, Jesper Horsted. Easy money. Like you said, simplify the game for this kid. But like I said, hopefully this new regime does it. But I mean, you had a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of coordinators in your 5 years, and it's like philosophies change, but football, the essence of what
football
you have
knowledge, man.
Come on.
Yeah, like I mean,
if a kid is comfortable throwing to this guy,
that was just what Matt Nagy did, man.
He certainly deserves
no
a shot.
sense.
That's for sure. He certainly deserves a shot.
And yeah,
hopefully
with this new
what was that? They got creative with you, Dustin. Didn't Paul Ender throw you a touchdown?
Was that your first touchdown? That was
one.
JB, you just ruined my question for him.
Oh, I'm sorry. Look, my bad.
Ruined my question for him. Was that your first career touchdown in the NFL? That Paul Edinger fakes?
Yeah, I had 2 in that game. And
yeah, you had one in the late one, I think. I thought that was your first one, though.
Yeah, that may have been the first one because, that was right. I was the wing on the kickoff team, and it was Brad Maynard, the holder,
yeah,
who gave me the pitch. And
was a beautiful pitch, man.
Oh, he was the punter, right?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, they always had punters holding the ball back.
Right.
They still do have punters holding the ball.
Yeah, they practice together all the time. So, yeah, I think that was number one, right? Because then I had another one later in the game.
And I think you had your third one was against the Packers, wasn't it?
No, it was that was a Packer game. That
was the Packer game.
That was
two in the Packer game, I thought.
Two in the Packer game, and then I had one against the Colts and in a bad loss. And so, but yeah, that Packer game, that was my best game. That was the one I always look at. And I'm like, yeah, I got that opportunity. Somebody was hurt, so I got the that starting opportunity. And I had a big day. Tore my ACL in that game though. So,
damn, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not remember that.
Yeah, it was late.
I remember when you
in the game.
That was your second time, because I remember you did it in college. You had your own. Didn't you have your teams like only pick six that year?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that was against Georgia Tech.
Was it Duke?
Yeah, Georgia Tech.
Okay,
Tech.
Duke is when you got hurt.
Duke is when I got hurt. Yes, you have
JB.
done your homework. Yeah,
JB, the stat man over here.
Yeah, man. Leave me alone. I like sports. Okay.
Yeah.
I stumped the Schwab back in the day. Okay. There.
God damn, man.
That's Dustin.
Yeah, but I guess like us not knowing about that ACL thing, you wouldn't get away with that in this era because you got social media. It would have been on there in 10 seconds.
Right.
Yeah. No, I know.
You really couldn't see that stuff back then until like a doctor leaked it out.
Right. Yeah, it was kind of right. It was like, it happened. It was late in the game, and it was. I played. I continued to play, and so it was. But I kind of knew. I knew it was. I had done it before. I knew it was wrong, and so I had to get it fixed. That's okay. I came back. We signed Desmond Clark, friend of mine, Wake Forest teammate that off season, and played another 2 years after that. So it was good, but that was a tough one for sure.
Yeah,
you all had a good tight end room.
How was it? How was it in practice going up against Brian Urlacher?
Oh, I mean, Brian. It was always, first of all, it's so much fun to go against the best, and Brian was the best, and he was so competitive that practice was, as in some ways more fun than the games, because we go against each other so frequently. It became like playing your brother in the backyard. I mean, it was like intense, and anytime I beat Brian was a major victory for me. So whether that was like, on a block or on a route, that was, those were good times for sure.
Did y'all do a lot of shit talking?
Oh, for sure. Constant. We would never give each other a break. I mean, and it was all love, but it was competitive. I mean,
that's what
young and it was alpha.
That was the difference between practices back then and now. Like when you guys practiced hard in practices back then compared to now. It's like, flag football now at practices.
I know. It started to change even by the end of my career, which was 2005, and it started to get easier. But yeah, when we were going up to Platteville, Wisconsin, I mean, we were doing like pretty frequent, like double sessions, in pads, heavy hitting, multiple days in a row. And they don't do that anymore.
Oh man. No. And then everybody wonders why this modern era of players are always getting hurt. Maybe that's why. Maybe you're thinking the opposite. Practice harder. Maybe you won't get hurt anymore.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I mean, there's something to be said for that, because your body got conditioned for the contact.
Yeah.
Right. And it's I don't know, in one way you're saving some stuff, you're probably protecting some, injuries, but you may be creating issues in other ways.
Mm-hmm. Right. So I wanted to ask you, because you come from a different era of football and being on the defensive side of the ball, how do you feel about the way football is now? You can't really tackle, you can't really hit. Like everything is a flag now. Like, how do you feel about that?
I don't even know how they're going to have a future for football. I mean, my high school, I'm from Colorado, was a powerhouse high school. big division, big school, big league, big coaches. We used to send a lot of players to Division I. And I was back a couple of years ago and talked to my high school coach. He's been there like 35 years or something. And he was saying they can hardly even practice anymore. I mean,
on the high school level.
At the high school level, he said
my high school team beat the hell out of me, man.
Yeah, he was telling me that the kids at the on the soccer team are bigger than the kids on the football team now. So I know it's not like this everywhere, but if everyone's going to be playing football in like Texas, Oklahoma, Florida, Georgia, and it's just, I don't know. The game has changed a lot, and it's too bad. So
I feel like it's kind of like that for all sports right now, though. They're really cutting back. Because the same with basketball. You can't play hard in basketball. Hockey. You can't hit somebody hard in hockey. It's 99% of the time going to be a penalty. Like they're so protecting people nowadays. It's rough.
Yeah, it is rough. I mean, the truth be told, I think football is actually great when it's high scoring, and so when it's more downfield action, it's a lot of fun, and you can do that without the heavy hitting.
Yeah.
So
I say, like, if you hit a quarterback, it's a 50-50 chance you're gonna get flagged on it. Like that's like how it is with football right now, man. Like
that's that Tom
especially
Brady
especially if that quarterback's Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, that's gonna bump it up to 70%. If you're gonna hit him, you're gonna get flagged.
Right.
Like I feel they baby quarterbacks way too much more.
Way too much, because now you see it where it's like, I mean, when you watch it on replay, it's crazy because it'll just be like an errant like hand coming over the top that'll
like this.
You can't control that.
Yeah.
You're going to deflect the ball, not going to hit the guy on the head.
Yeah. Nah, it's hard to watch.
It is, but I just miss those days where it's like when you guys would come and crack back on the linebacker. Like I miss those days. Like lay somebody out.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. I mean, that was why I started playing football, was after watching like NFL's greatest hits videos and all that stuff. I mean, that was what was so appealing about it when I was 15 years old. And so, I don't know. I mean, things change and they evolve. So, but they don't need to like soften it up as much as they have.
Yeah.
So Dustin, tell us about your transition from football to business school, and then to being the CEO of Ms. Fields. And then
those damn cookies.
Your ski resort.
Well, I mean, I basically, when I got out of football, I had looked at it and I thought to myself, I'm like, all right, it took me, 15 years of like hard work to get to, the NFL, something like that. And so, I kind of promised to myself that I'm like, if I put in 15 years of hard work, in this transition to do something else, who knows what's possible? I can be successful doing something else. And just like that journey in football, I mean, when I started, it was at the very, very bottom, doing, not knowing what I was doing and working really hard at it. And that's pretty much the same thing that I did in my business career. I didn't have any skills. I didn't have any knowledge of, what it would be working in an office or being successful outside of athletics. So that's where school came in, because I needed something to help me transition. So I started working in sales. I started working in, basically insurance sales, cold calling, like pretty terrible, like pretty menial, like, list, trying to talk people into stuff. And then I went to school at night. I was going to night school, and, so I did that pretty quickly after I stopped playing football. I still had lots of, energy and focus and determination. And so I was able to kind of work during the day, go to school at night. After that, I wanted to have some really fundamental skills. So I took a lot of accounting and finance classes that were really difficult, really challenging. I was probably like the I was partnering with the smartest kids in the class, just kind of hanging on by my fingernails, like
Partnering,
group work.
I know about that.
Yeah.
I know about that.
Yep. And using whatever skills I had, which was, teamwork, team building, this leadership dynamics, things like that, being, figuring out how I could be the help. And then I, when I got into like real work, I was, it probably took me about 4 years of like kind of heads down, like learning the hard way, learning through sales. And then, just started getting into different companies. I mean, I started with the company called Dish Network out in Colorado. Then I started working for a ski resort company called Vail Resorts, which is a big one.
Vail, Colorado, right?
Yeah. And
a lot of ski weekends there.
Yeah, good. Yeah. And I'm being from Colorado, that was something I was fairly comfortable with. I had some knowledge of that business just from that. The Mrs. Fields opportunity came up because my boss at the time had left and taken a job with Mrs. Fields business that was headquartered in Colorado at the time. And, he had talked me into coming over and joining him with that because they had been in bankruptcy and now they were out of bankruptcy and they were like doing a lot of, kind of new growth, like new investments, things like that. I thought it was a good opportunity for me. And I got over there and we were owned by a private equity firm out of New York that was really difficult to work for. Like they would call up and they would scream and yell and they would just like, berate people. And so my boss at the time quit like, almost immediately after I had joined the company. And so that actually playing football was a huge advantage for me because I got along with the guys in New York fine because I was unaffected by that, like they're, them just kind of, being animated and reminded me a lot of coaches that I had in the past. And so, it was kind of a good fit. So I ended up moving up in that company really quickly. I went from just a finance position to then the CFO and then to being the CEO of that company. And we had a successful run. I was there for about 6 years. We grew every year I was there. And I really enjoyed it, but my true heart was, in the ski business. And so I did get another opportunity to come back in where I'm at right now, which is with Copper Mountain, which is another big resort close to Vail, close to Breckenridge, and been doing that for the last 4 years. And for me, that's really like that's kind of the NFL, like that's what I was looking for from the beginning was like, okay, if I work hard for that 15 years, then, then that's where I'll be. Awesome. Yeah. So
dreaming. Nice.
That's dope. That's real dope.
Yeah.
Influential.
Yeah. Thanks. I mean, it was, a lot of dark days, but it was all, that's the way, that's how things get created. Right. So you just persevere.
It all paid off. Well, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
I hope my dreams
you see somebody.
I'm 46 years old. I'm still waiting for my dreams to come.
Hey,
I'm still waiting to find that winning lottery ticket in the parking lot.
Well, I'm still waiting on that too. So that's
you got
press offs right here.
You got to play to win. That's my problem. I don't play.
Yeah, that's why I said I got to find it on the parking lot.
You don't play, you don't win.
I can't even win in a coin toss, let alone a lottery. I don't understand why I'd even try that. Seriously, man. My wife will gamble me in paper, scissors, rock every single time because she will beat me every single time.
I saw New York State. They're going to do the lottery online. You don't even have to go to the store anymore.
Everything's
What?
online
Really?
now. It doesn't surprise me on that one.
I got to go, guys. I got to get going.
Man, hey,
I like this, though. This has been great. I really enjoy it. And you guys are smart.
We're glad to have you. Glad to have you.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can get you back during the season.
I would love it. I'm going to, now you've given me all the reason in the world to stay up on the team. So thanks for the insights. I really appreciate it.
Cool. No problem, man.
All right.
We'll holler at you.
Take care, Dustin.
Dustin Lyman. Yep.
You ever had a bad speaker on this show, man?
No.
I don't think we've ever had a bad guest, man. Everyone's a great guest.
Never.
You don't see too many people with that type of success after football like he has, man. That's insane.
Now, see, it's funny you said that, Frank, because the first thing that came to my mind when he said that was, damn, back in those days, there was no guaranteed contracts in football.
Yeah.
Like now, I mean, there's not guaranteed full, but there's guaranteed money.
Exactly.
Back then, there was no guaranteed money, bonus, none of that. So he kind of like just third round pick. He had to play year to year for his money. That in itself made his grind real when it came to the business world.
Absolutely.
You're right. That grind was real, man.
I wish we could do that nowadays. That might get Eddie Jackson's ass to start playing again.
He's serious, man.
Year-to-year contract, man. He'll come back.
Hey, so how about this? I gotta go use the bathroom. So can we take a little can we take a little commercial break, please? So I can go use the bathroom. I so appreciate it. So here we go.
There was a time when high standards prevailed, when excellent craftsmanship was displayed and treated with the utmost importance. Acquire the crisp, refreshing taste of Moore's Beer. Moore's Beer. Raise your standards.
Okay, Flash.
I went that fast.
Hey, damn, dude. Did you wash your hands?
It's right there.
This is COVID, man. Wash your hands.
20
I
seconds.
didn't wash my hands.
Hey, you don't say that on.
It's right there.
We live. Don't say you didn't wash your hands.
I'm just
At least
kidding.
have
I
some
washed my
hand
hands,
sanitizer by the
man.
desk, man.
I washed my hands. I'm good. I'm good. I still got to finish my scratch off, though. Like I said, I'm still trying to make my dreams come true. Dreams come true when you win. You don't.
I've never won anything more than a free ticket.
The most I've won on the scratch off was $10. So I took that $10 right back in, spent it.
Lost them all. It's like Vegas, man. Inch it right back in, man. It's like right at a casino.
I won $100.
Oh, I've won at the casino before. I've won a few $100, you know.
I'm Flash, man. I'm Flash. In the bathroom right there. So yeah, I was able to make it. Thank you. But yeah, so we did not finish our 2-minute drill with the Post-it notes, but we finished that one with all the people going to Atlanta. But we have another one. Let me see.
Damn, you know what we didn't get to ask Dustin?
What's that?
The 2 questions.
What's that?
Pizza and chicken.
Oh, we'll have them back.
Drop the ball on that one.
And we'll get to ask those questions.
We'll get him back. He did. We kind of he just left, so we didn't really get a chance to try to close it out either. So
it's all good, man.
Yeah, perfect, man. It was a great speaker for sure.
So let's get to one of our other Post-it notes. We don't need to go through the intro for Post-it notes anymore, so I'll just put this right up.
Yeah.
So I posted this.
I wish I could
posted this maybe like a week ago. And so Isaiah said, head to head, I was dominant over Michael Jordan.
Never
until
saw
91, when I basically had a career-ending wrist injury. It really wasn't a competition there, talking about Mike. My focus was Bird, Magic, Dr. J, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. What do we have to say about that? Let's go.
Go ahead.
You go first because
let me go first.
After I talk, I'm going to burn it down.
Yeah, I'll start the fire for you on that one. This is just somebody who's still just absolutely freaking butthurt about not being the greatest athlete in Chicago during his time anymore. Because, I mean, obviously everybody knew those two didn't get along, but that is the biggest BS crap that I've ever read when I saw that. Like, the Detroit Pistons maybe helped control Michael Jordan, but there's no way that Isaiah Thomas alone can say that he can do that.
I thought that was insane too.
Yeah, he's never had anything good to say about Michael, so I don't really, it doesn't surprise me that he would say something like that.
I was kind of pissed at him when he didn't even want to shake their hand after they did finally get over the hill and beat Detroit. He didn't even want to shake their hand.
Supposedly, and we didn't hear that from Isaiah, but one of the other people on the Pistons, I can't really remember his name, and I'm pretty sure he is a Hall of Famer too. But he came out and said it was supposed to be as a sign of respect, of a passing of the torch.
Bull,
how is that respectful? Like what?
Let me call BS.
But supposedly that person said he did not want to do it regardless. He wanted to shake their hands. He didn't want to do it.
Bill Laimbeer motioned, yo, let's go. Now, go back to 88 or 89, I think it was. The Pistons beat the Celtics, and the Pistons waited for them to shake their hands. Larry Bird and them walked off. Kevin McHale was the only one that came, gave Isaiah some respect, some love, shook his hand, patted him on the shoulder, and left. So that's bull. First of all, Isaiah Thomas, one of my favorite point guards in the history of the game.
Absolutely.
I would love to have him on the show, but you're full of shit, dude.
I'd be scared to have him on the show.
I wouldn't, because
that's like an Eddie Jackson right now to have on the show.
Wait. JB, you just said he's full of shit. Would you tell him that on the podcast?
As far as when it comes to Jordan, absolutely. The man averaged 30 points a game against the Pistons, and there's a whole book called The Jordan Rules. So he can't say that he wasn't his direct competition when the whole team made a damn book about how to stop this guy. That's as the young kids say, that's cap. No.
And that's why we keep it 1,000 on this podcast, people.
Like
JB no bullshit.
No, I can't.
And Isaiah Thomas can't hit nobody through a damn
JB no bullshit, boy.
Now, head to head, did the Pistons have a better record than the Bulls?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Wore him down, too.
They did. But to say that particular guy, Michael Jordan, look up the stats if y'all don't believe me. Michael Jordan was more of a threat offensively to the Pistons than Dr. J or Kareem was. Look it up and I'll bet any money.
Yeah.
I don't really know. I don't need to look that shit up. He was just saying that shit because he was hurt. He mad.
Yeah, butthurt. He's always
literally. You talking about the only reason is because he's rich. Dude, you got swept. It wasn't like y'all was lost fourth. You got swept.
It's some bullshit.
And it's the same Isaiah Thomas that will tell you, look at what he did on a busted ankle in that playoff series. He came back and had like 30-something points, like 16 points in the fourth quarter or something crazy like that on a busted ankle. But you talking about your wrist, dude, was career ending? Okay. All right.
Whatever. Isaiah, this is what we got to say for you.
Set up like a slap.
Yeah, man, get your whoa! You want to Will Smith that dude?
Oh, that'd be a nice. Oh, you got to get a Will Smith gift on here, man.
He's still hurt. He mad. Look, he mad because Michael didn't. Well, actually, they said Michael commented, but it really was Magic that didn't want him on the dream team. Like, you too good of a player, Isaiah Thomas, to be butthurt about some stuff like this.
Yeah,
like the passing of the torch. Let's not forget. Detroit wasn't even supposed to win one of those championships.
No.
Because even that one they won against Portland, Portland was the powerhouse team.
Yep.
Terry Porter, Clyde Drexler, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Cliff Robinson. What's my man name? My mom know him from Markham.
Kevin Duckworth.
Kevin Duckworth. Like, that team was stacked. So Isaiah and them, I give props to the Pistons. They beat the odds and stuff. But to say that they wasn't no competition?
What? Yeah, that's crazy, man. That's crazy. Hey, before we get into our shout outs, your mom brought this up. Well, our mom brought this up. We definitely have to say something about Dwayne Haskins, man. That was super trash.
Absolutely.
24 years old.
I almost teared up when I read that stuff, man. That's just horrible.
When I read it, because at first I didn't know about it, so a fan of the show, Keith Sperry, inboxed me, and I read it. And I immediately am like, wait, what? Dude, what happened? And I believe he was out practicing with the guys, came back, and I believe he got hit by like a dump truck or something.
Dump truck, yeah.
Like, dude, where's the dump truck coming, like barreling down the street or something? But I was just like, 24 years of age, promising kid.
Everybody loved him too, man. Nobody ever said anything negative about that guy. Great teammate, friend. Like I was even seeing Justin Fields tweeting because he was the quarterback right before Justin Fields.
He was, and
like remember, Justin Fields loved him. He was friends with him.
Wayne Haskins came in as a freshman and lit the team. Lit Ohio State up. That Big Ten, and that matter of fact, Cordero, I can't think of the quarterback before him, did a similar thing. Came in, won a national championship. So prayers up to his family, to the Haskins.
It's rough, man. Absolutely.
Definitely, man.
Definitely. Heaven's team just got a quarterback, man. Like, for real. Like, that kid, I think Mike Tomlin had some plans for that kid somewhere between him and Mitch. I really do.
Well, that was our somber moment.
I'd like to bring another somber moment.
Uh-oh. What's that?
The end of the Bulls playoffs. They played a
Yeah, right when we're getting actually, did Brooklyn win tonight? Or Brooklyn was smoking?
They were winning before we got on the show by like
I heard 14. They were smoking them.
No, I'm sorry, it was like 20.
Yeah,
like Kyrie was like 10 for 10 from the field.
Yeah, Kyrie was lighting them up. I saw, and then I stopped watching it. Don't you tell me that Brooklyn lost?
Somebody posted. No. They won 115-108.
Okay.
Hey,
game, man. They did.
Cleveland came back.
What do we think of the Bulls' chances against Milwaukee?
It's obvious. It's not good.
The same chances of one of those lottery tickets you scratching off being $1 million winner. A snowball's chance in hell.
They're
right.
It's hard to give them any props when it comes down to that, the way that they finish the season. Like, no energy. Like, the only positive thing that you had after that All-Star break was the last game of the season when Pat Williams just lit up the Timberwolves.
No, but nobody played.
Exactly. But, I mean, don't get me wrong. Nobody played on either side. So it was
35 points is 35
points.
Points.
Patrick Williams had the ball, and he was the guy, and he did that when he was the guy. So,
and remember, I told y'all last year, he plays better when he plays the 3. He's not a 4.
Oh, I agree 100%. That's why the Bulls got to get big. They need to get bigger this offseason. Like, all I'm hoping is that they don't get blown out 4 straight games.
What do we get Tristan Thompson for if he's not going to play?
He's averaging, like 12 minutes a game? Especially against these bigger teams where you need him to play more and you're not playing.
Can't stop Giannis, but he's a bigger body with 6 fouls to at least get in his way.
But I'll tell you this, though. Patrick Williams can put pressure on Giannis. There's nobody who can stop Giannis.
But see, here's the thing. Patrick Williams is 6'7", 220 going against Giannis. You're putting Patrick at a disadvantage.
Oh, absolutely.
You're putting Vooch at a disadvantage. Like, you have to come at him. Remember when the Bulls would play like a dominant center? They'd send Longley. They'd send Winnington. They would send whoever. Like, they would come in droves, a 3-headed monster. They weren't trying to stop them. They were just trying to make their life a little bit more difficult.
I agree.
If Billy Donovan doesn't do that, like I'm telling you right now, having that little small ball lineup with DeMar at the 4.
Not going to work in the postseason.
Not at all.
Breaking news. I got breaking news.
Did you wash your hands?
$4.
So that means that the Bulls are going to at least win 2 games in this series.
I said $1 million.
$4. It's at least 2 wins.
I said $1 million, not 4 stinky bucks. But no, I have zero faith. I think Oliver Chapman had brought up the same thing.
Yes,
I have no faith. And somebody else said have faith. I would love to have faith, but I can't because I know this story. Like, Jesse, have faith, JB. We're gonna need a lot. You know when my faith left? When we didn't pull the trigger at the trade deadline.
I agree.
That's when my faith left. Because I said, AK, you did all this talking and stuff, but Billy Donovan's going to do the same thing he's done since OKC.
Like I fought you on it, JB, throughout the entire Bull season about Donovan, but I'm losing faith in Donovan. Like it's the adjustments.
He's a what they call a front runner coach.
Yeah,
he can coach the hell out of the game if he's winning.
And I will still truly say, not having Lonzo Ball kills this lineup.
I agree.
It kills this lineup. But even with Lonzo Ball, you ain't beating the Bucks.
But
because you need a big.
But let me bring something to your attention. Even with that, and I have a Lonzo Ball NBA Jam shirt on.
Love Lonzo Ball.
I love Lonzo, but the way that they're playing, Steven Adams was your big last time Billy Donovan had a little bit of success. Because a lot of people say, "Oh man, he went to the finals."
Yeah, that's
that wasn't
true.
Billy Donovan. That was Scott Brooks that was the coach. That wasn't Billy Donovan, guys. So Billy Donovan had Kevin Durant, had James Harden, had Westbrook, had Ibaka, did nothing with him.
Well, let me tell you this. Play devil's advocate here for the offseason here.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going out and trying to put all your money into getting Drew to Gobert over here? He doesn't want to stay in Utah now.
I'm not.
These rumors are going crazy.
I can't because, I mean, what are you giving up for him?
Would you give up P-Dub, Kobe White, and a first rounder for Rudy Gobert?
No, because now that means I put Vooch at the 4.
What if you'd be nice enough to take Vooch off our hands too?
I wouldn't trade Vooch for Gobert. That's two totally different players. One's an anchor defensively.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying Gobert, PW, and Cole. You're not going to trade. I mean, if you're going to get somebody to take Vooch off of your hands, it's going to be the Phoenix Suns, and you're going to go out and maybe get Aiden.
So if you did a sign and trade right now, Vooch for Aiden, I could see that.
But you'd have to give more. You wouldn't be able to just give him.
Well, but that's the problem.
Maybe Kobe White too.
Remember, that's players. We already gave up 2 first-round picks to get Vooch.
Agreed. Yeah.
We have to get at least one coming back. So us to get, like, there was the Anthony Davis rumor. I don't think you trade Vooch to the Lakers for Anthony Davis because they're not going to get – first of all, they don't even have a first-round pick to give back.
No, 2027 is their next first-round pick.
Right. So, no.
And they might trade it to Toronto to get their head coach this offseason. I was like, okay.
Right. They're trying to get Nick Nurse. So, I mean, unless you go and you try to hit Cleveland up for Jared Allen.
Yeah. So I say we go ahead and get to these shout outs so I can fill my cup back up because my cup runneth empty.
My glass empty too.
So why don't you go ahead and kick it off, Frank? The tank.
Oh, my first shout outs here. All the comments, love the comments. That guest speaker, phenomenal. It's very nice to see somebody after a very good NFL career to have that phenomenal of a business success after the NFL. Like, he didn't stop working his tail off, even if it wasn't even in football. And that's huge. Give Foulmouth, thanks for not being on, man, because my first time to actually be permanently on here. And both of you guys, give you guys shout outs too. Always welcoming here. Love to be here. Hope to be here more. Start up that Hawk Talk sooner or later. And that's pretty much all I got.
Beautiful. JB. So shout out to D Lyman. Like, man, those that watched that, especially, we had a magical 2001 season. 13-3, Big Jerron. A lot of those guys, man, that was an excellent team. If Miller doesn't get hurt, we looking at Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Dustin Lyman was a part of that. Wore Mike Dickens number. We had big hopes. Love the production. Love the nastiness. Great guest. Hope to have him back. Frank, love talking to you. My whiskey brother. Always.
Whiskey.
Always. Glad to have you. Mom's checking in. A couple of the Bynum family. I know we were checking in. I thank you. All the love and support that the family has given us. Some new friends. I know they're chiming in as far as watching me on my phone. Need you guys to subscribe. Jump in on the chat. We love to see you. Post it, put it up. A special shout out to one of my brothers, Ahmad Turner. Had his little boy today. There's a Ahmad Jr. in the world.
Congratulations,
man.
Congrats.
Okay.
Shout out to my brother.
Let's go. Let's go.
And that's it. That's all I got, T.
All right. Well, I guess it's on me And I am trying to find who our next guest is. So, oh shit. Okay.
Is it? Do I know? Is it a nickname and with the last name sounds like Orr?
No.
Bobby Orr? We going hockey? Huh? Bobby Orr?
Nah, not yet.
I'm pretty sure he's dead, so we're good at that.
Oh,
so I don't think we'd be able to get him. Man. He's pretty old. Man. That was like the 50s, 60s type hockey players there, man.
The next guest actually is Keith Rucker. He played with the Bengals, but he is from here, Chicago. So it's the Chicago Clubhouse podcast. So we're gonna see what he has to say. I'm sure he's gonna drop some gems just like everybody else. Which leads me to my next shout out. Dustin, he dropped some gems. And we're so grateful to have had him on the show. Man, he had a great football career, but like Frank was saying, he jumped right into business, going to business school, and then becoming the president, CEO. So he never stopped working. He was always working, man. Behind the scenes playing football, he was working. He was studying. So shout out to him, man. But like I said earlier, it's always good to see these ex-athletes do well after football, So, and Dustin definitely is doing well, man. He has that ski resort, but I'll never visit because I can't ski.
So
I can't ski.
I'll tell you this. Being a guy that has never skied, but I've been to the ski weekend.
There's a lot there other than skiing. Yeah, there's a lot there other than skiing.
Breckenridge, Colorado, Vail, Colorado, and Aspen. Great time.
Oh, okay. Well,
I can't eat a Mr. Fields cookie now without thinking of Dustin, man.
Look, I want one, and I'm like,
I just want one so bad. Right?
What mall can I go to? Because there's no malls no more.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I guess I got Oak Brook Mall out here.
I'm about to say that's
I'm gonna hit up Oak Brook Mall next time and get me a Mr. Fields cookie.
See.
Miss Fields cookies is still around in malls.
Yeah,
that's the last time I've seen them. I haven't been to a mall in a long time though.
Look, T, I don't mean to cut your shout outs up, but you got to remember this. This is a walk down memory lane. You would go to any given mall. You would have a Mrs. Fields, Auntie Annie's pretzel shop, and a Cinnabon.
Oh my God, yes, those three.
Auntie Annie, I remember Auntie Annie's definitely.
That was the pretzel joint.
And Cinnabon for sure. Mrs. Fields, I remember it way back in the day, but
I'm saying when River Oaks had all three. River Oaks Mall had all three.
Yeah.
They would always have that leading going into the eatery. You would have the Mr. Fields, the Cinnabon man, always leading into the eatery. So they know when you leave that eatery.
Shout out to everybody in the chat. The chat was on fire. Jesse, John
Santino, Oliver Chapman.
Oliver, yeah. It was on fire, man. So we appreciate everybody that was in the chat. You had something to say. We also appreciate you all who did not have anything to say. You are officially a lurker. But you know what? We appreciate y'all just the same, too. Because, at least you watching. You watching our foolishness. So that's cool. That's cool. And don't forget to like and subscribe to us on YouTube, IG, Twitter, and keep watching the podcast. We appreciate it. Any family that I had in here, I appreciate y'all, but I usually don't have any family support. So I don't know if I do or not, but I appreciate y'all if y'all in here. Mom and Dad, I know y'all ain't here. Y'all probably just getting back from they went to Palm Springs.
Woo!
Good weather out there.
Hey.
My dad just retired, so shout out to Dad. Shout out to Dad, man. He just retired, so yeah, they've been doing some traveling. They went to Cabo and they went to Palm Springs. So yeah.
That's what's up, man. Something to look forward to. Congratulations.
Yeah, man. He was in the game for like 40 something years as a physician. Yeah.
He earned that.
Yep, definitely. But I know he ain't watching. So, but shout out to Pops anyway for not watching. I mean, while he not watching, shout out to Pops, man. And shit, shout out to you guys, man, and definitely shout out to you, Frank, for coming in here on the fly. We appreciate that, and you'll be permanently with us on the podcast, especially when you do the Hawk Talk.
Hawk Talk.
Which I can't wait because I don't know shit about hockey, but I look forward to trying to learn something. Hey, and y'all in the chat, some of y'all might be laughing at me, but y'all don't know shit about hockey either. Some of y'all don't know shit about hockey either. Don't.
That's why I'm here, man. I'll educate. Them some mean mothers. Those some mean mothers out there on that hockey rink. I'll tell you that.
Well, I can't wait to learn. You know, I don't like to learn shit, but you know, if it's about
like to learn,
if it's about sports though or current events, I don't mind learning. But yeah, so I think that's pretty much it for our little show. So I want to leave y'all with a couple of gems real quick. First, I want to leave you with this.
You got to decide whether you're a wolf or a sheep.
Then I'm going to leave you with this.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
We out.
Later.
Peace.